off with a little Helsinki tournament with a game that came out, and Jason's Deli.
Oh, yeah.
He brought that tutorial deck out and showed everyone what's going on. I have a little saying here that I busted out earlier. It was a knight and archers, which are very prevalent right now.
So we're actually going to be jumping into the match
here
right now.
Oh, I want that a little. Oh my goodness. Double Expos get deploy Ice Golem from B Village.
Looks like that Mega Minion's going to take out the other Mega Minion. Ice Spirit freezes him, so it takes him out. That Expo is locked on. They're both locked onto the tower. Surgical at the top and B Village on the bottom. The guards are going to be coming in for that Expo on both sides. It's like a mirror image.
What a crazy start. We had not seen Surgical. He played this deck once and then immediately went to his Rocket Cycle deck with the Inferno Tower.
Look at that Expo. It's about to take out the tower. Right there in the very beginning.
Oh my
Surgical
gosh.
Goblin takes out that tower with the Expo still alive. Not even 1 minute
so
in.
long. We've been talking so much. If you just even get the Expo with a quarter of a health left and it gets on the tower, it's going to do hundreds of damage. But Surgical gets the better of that exchange in the beginning with both of them starting with Expo.
And then Surgical plants down that Inferno Tower to tank for that Expo. It's amazing. That Inferno Tower having so much health, being the building with the second most health.
That Ice Golem had a gnarly splash, though, from the Inferno Tower all the way to the Mega Minion. He hit it all. Okay, so there we go. Ice Golem.
And then Ice Golem's death damage kills the Mega Minion. When is the last time you've seen something like that happen?
Oh my gosh, it's in French too. We haven't seen that yet. Okay, so they're both going to trade towers with the Expo. Now, this is where it gets interesting. How do you play when you're down a tower, when if you put it over there, you have to go towards the middle, right? Because otherwise they can just deploy right on top of your
Absolutely.
Expo.
It's going to be very hard now for each other to chip each other with the Expo.
And this is very strange, guys. We've been seeing B Village rock, I believe, more
Bowler to counter the Expo. It's going to demolish those guards right there, take out the Ice Spirit and the guard right there, then the Bowler.
Unfortunately, it's not locked on the Bowler, otherwise it would do basically nothing to the tower. The Ice Golem can't get through.
This is looking like bad news for B Village right now, with that tower down at 1,000 damage. What do you suppose Surgical's 8th card could be?
Surgical with the Expo, he's probably got a rocket.
It's a little bit hard to say right now, a little bit too early.
A little too early. It could be Fireball or rocket with the Expo. You generally want something to
right there behind the Bowler.
And then on the bottom, look at B Village sitting at 10 for so long because he knows he has to deploy when he can tank for that Expo.
Just look at Surgical plant down those guards, knowing that he needs to protect it from the Mega Minion, but the Mega Minion still locks onto that Expo.
I would say, since we haven't seen it, B Village, if he doesn't have an Inferno, he has to have a rocket or some other type of win condition, but I don't know if that's going to help him out here since Surgical is playing his Inferno.
Look at that. With both towers down, their Expos are going to have a hard time locking onto the tower.
And I know this is the first match that the majority of people are tuning into, but we have not seen Expo versus Expo, I don't think, in the entire time we've been here. Maybe once or so?
We haven't seen any of that quite yet. Is that Expo going to lock on? No, there's a Bowler there, so we're going to be going into overtime now. Look at that log slowly chip away with dominant lane control. 648 health. Surgical is constantly applying pressure. B Village has no chance to plant an Expo on the left side.
Just a little bit of chip. Will we see it come out? Let's see. Oh no, so if it was a rocket, it would have been launched already because 493 is the rocket's damage at tournament standard. That's definitely doable right there at 426.
Just look at B Village's Expo doing some damage to that tower, but that Mega Minion freezes and takes out that Expo. 322. Surgical's going to need to bust out 3.5 logs to take out that tower.
If he does have a Fireball, he can log Fireball it.
He could.
Yeah, let's see. What is his last card that he's not playing? Maybe it's something.
It could actually be Fireball because Fireball does 276 damage to the tower.
Yeah.
He just needs to chip it one more time if he does have a Fireball, that is.
There's the Fireball, there's the log, and that's going to end the game. Oh my gosh, first one goes pretty quick. Wow. What an insane...
That's your 15th prediction today. You said there was a Fireball, and he had a Fireball just like that.
I mean, I initially thought rocket, but then it would have came out if it was the rocket a little bit earlier there, but...
Yeah, you said that the rocket has 493 damage, so it obviously would have been played a lot earlier.
Yeah, he wouldn't just sit there and wait for him to set up an Expo, defend twice with the Ice Golem against the Bowler right there, so let's go ahead.
So it's really interesting with that Fireball. It was a slight disadvantage because it was sitting in his slot the whole time, so he only had 3 cards to play in his rotation, but Surgical just kept applying that pressure.
Man, I can't wait to see. Okay, so Surgical knows he just won
now that's
with the
Surgical
Expo.
on the screen right now in the striped green shirt.
That's him right there.
Representing the Netherlands. And
Did he wear that shirt yesterday? I don't know. I'm just kidding. But hey, I look more like B Village with my nice sweater.
Well, it's just like how Phone Cats always has 10 black shirts. You know?
Yeah, I generally wear black shirts in videos too. I don't know what it is. It's just a gaming thing.
It is.
Look at these guys over here.
I actually have
Yeah.
10 of these shirts.
I have one too.
No, you don't.
I do. It's a positive elixir trade in a shirt. It's all you really need to do. So if you're at B Village, do you switch it up? What are you going to go to next? Because I don't know. I think
Anything
his
could
problem
happen right
was
now.
if he had an Inferno top. Man, I don't know. The Inferno was a little bit of trouble for him.
It was rarely played, but when it was very effective. And
And
these
there
guys,
was one play where he just put it in the lane where he needed to hit the other tower and left it there because he knew he couldn't start attacking it. It was pretty cool.
What I love about these games is that they understand the technical aspects of everything. They know when to plant the Inferno Tower, exactly where to plant it, and how to protect it. They'll predict guards if there's something else to counter it.
That was
It's this
weird. There wasn't a
precise placement.
skeleton army in those Expo decks.
There wasn't, but there was guards. Just
Yeah.
because the guards were just as useful to
Yeah,
protect
'cause
against the Mega Minion.
Now people have been predicting Skeleton Army and pre-logging when they know you have it, and if
Yep.
once you get that done to you once, you can never really use Skeleton Army again. So then they're using guards now because they will survive it and at least tank a little bit of shots from that Expo right there.
That's right, and I can't believe that Surgical Goblin actually got an Expo to take out that tower with his tower down. It was
yeah.
just, you could plant guards, you could plant the Ice Golem, you could plant the Mega Minion on top of that Expo, but he
Yeah.
still managed to get it down.
The bowler, I think, also helped him out because he was getting the bowler to tank, I feel like, a little better in that one right there. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see how this goes. I don't think it's going to be that easy for Surgical, but we'll see. He has been relatively flawless in these last couple rounds. And we don't really know this flow of how they're going to do breaks or timing just because.
I think they're just checking out the different decks right now, so they're trying to counter their counters.
Yeah.
So Surgical's trying to see if he's going to counter his counter, so possibly make a counter for his counter for his counter.
Is this a kitchen we're designing with all these counters, or?
I prefer marble. Anyways, so back to the game.
I don't know. I mean, we've kind of covered the Expo. So what if someone goes to Lava Hound and you're still rocking Expo?
I have a feeling that B Village is anticipating Surgical Goblin's famous rocket deck. So Surgical
I want to see that.
Surgical might actually not play it if he's anticipating his opponent as anticipating him.
Counterception again.
Counterception, I like that.
Someone said it in chat. I have to admit, I stole it. I can't read whose name it was, though, because now we're going a little bit quicker.
It's a counter elixir trade. That's what it is.
Counter elixir trade. All right,
For
let's get
positive
around
elixir trade.
to. Come on, let's get round two going. Surgical is talking to the pit boss over there, saying, "Hey, man, I just want to tell you, I have this really cool rocket deck, but unfortunately, I couldn't use it last round."
Is it just me, or does that look like Gabe? Almost.
Almost. Maybe it's a technical thing.
Half-Life 3
There's
confirmed.
a ton of people in the arena. Today, a lot of finals. I hear some dancing. I know there's Street Fighter. I know there is CSGO, which went from there and moved over there. And this game
Overwatch.
runs on Wi-Fi, which has been a frequent issue until there's a Wi-Fi as fast as an Ethernet, or as stable is a better word, as
Yeah.
an Ethernet connection. Tournaments like this, how do you deal with it?
It's
just
so
the
hard.
interference.
Like with the CSGO scene, it's very competitive, but there's desktops connected to the Ethernet port.
Yep.
And this is the first mobile game that's truly so competitive where you need perfect latency.
I feel like we've over doubled in viewers since kind of describing this. And if you guys are just showing up from the in-game message, basically 128 people were divided into 4
Now,
groups.
where did those 128 people come from?
A couple were handpicked from really big tournament winners from across the globe and brought out here. A couple qualified via a local qualifier event, obviously more regional. And then some other traveled, like Trimax from Germany and Alvaro from Spain, well-known people in the community.
And then most of these players qualified from the 1,000-player ESWC tournaments in-game.
Yeah.
So there was, what, 100? Or there was at least 10 of them.
Yeah.
So out of 10,000 players, 128 came here. The top 128 players, of course.
Yeah.
And then
they were divided into 4 groups of 34, and then out of that, you were matched up over the course of 5 rounds with a tiebreaker at the end if it came to it. And then 4 people from each of those 32, which is already 1 in 8, not the best odds, got into the final 16 today, and now we're just broadcasting the final 4 to you guys.
Yep. So it's literally the top of the top of the top of the top.
Yep, and
The
then there's
Power
$10,000 in prizes for this tournament. However, the glory of being in front of all these people on this main stage is a little bigger right now. It looks like they're getting ready to go, but it's 5,000 first, 2,500 second, 1,500 third, 1,000 for fourth. We're going to be spectating there, jumping into it right now. And it's going to be on the screen on the big stage and on screen
Right off
for
the
you
match.
guys.
So Surgical is going in with that Mega Minion on the spot on the backside. They're both responding with Mega Minion with an Ice Spirit coming right on ahead.
All right, so it looks like Surgical is sticking with the Expo. Interesting. And then we see the Bowler. I mean, they both could be.
It looks like they have very similar decks with the exception that they both have the Ice Golem. Look at that, the Ice Golem freezes both these units for 35% slow.
And then the guards distract at least one bowl of the Bowler away from the Expo, and then he finally goes down. And will the Expo get any lock on the tower? Just maybe a second of it.
B-Village going in with that Expo again. How is Surgical going to respond to that? He goes with an Inferno Tower, but B-Village out-predicts him with an Ice Spirit, freezes that, and the Inferno Tower locks onto the Mega Minion.
And
now
then
that
it has
Expo's
to
going to
go
deal
through
so
the-
much damage.
Oh man, and then there's an Ice Golem to top it off, going right up to the tower there, and the guards are going to have to go for the Ice Golem first. Oh.
With that Ice Golem's death damage only dealing 40, it's not enough to take out the guard's shield.
So 2 Expo exchanges. B-Village is looking like he will take an entire tower with his. And we know Surgical has the Fireball in his deck.
Just a minute and a half in, and B-Village's first Expo takes out that tower. Going in for the second Expo. How is Surgical going to defend against that? Both Expos targeting onto that Ice Golem. That's ridiculous right there.
They're caught in the crossfire. Oh man, the stream one that I'm watching on my monitor, we're on different monitors here. I'm watching it in French, so it said Super Combat. I guess I don't know how to say it, how it's pronounced, but I mean, mine when the emotes pop up is in French. It's quite funny. We haven't seen that the whole week.
All right, so Surgical's going in with that Expo right there. It's being protected by that Inferno Tower. Takes out that Ice Golem and that Bowler right there.
And then on the screen here, I am seeing 0-0. I'm not sure if that hasn't updated yet. As we know, Surgical took the first one. I'm not sure what they were talking about after, but we'll verify that in a little bit right after this one.
Yeah, hopefully we can verify the results of that.
And he needs to put that Bowler down now. There it goes. The double Ice Golems, they just really tie everything up for quite some time. And you, in your words, you said the Ice Golem is really underused because it already has the utility it needs even before its upcoming 70% increase.
Yeah, there's a 74% increase coming soon, November 1st, which will kill skeletons, but it already has a lot of value. For 2 Elixir, it denies so much and has a 35% slow.
The defensive Expo is all B-Village will need in this one here because of the one successful deployment.
It looks like Surgical Goblin is not going to be able to get an Expo through to that tower.
The thumbs ups and the well-playeds drop, keeping it nice and friendly. So
we noticed that the score was 0-0.
We had a rematch situation. Okay,
like
there was...
we were talking about earlier how there is wireless issues just because with the latency.
Okay. So we're going to take a look here. All right, so that was a rematch.
So unfortunately, the first one did not count. That might have explained why that Expo in the first match went through.
Yes, it might have. So that first one was a Wi-Fi issue, so it was redone, and now we have B-Village up 1-0.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, how with the more competitive desktop games like CSGO, you have an Ethernet port connected to the desktop, whereas now it's all wireless. And if you guys have ever been to a big event, like with a big stadium, you have almost no reception just because there's so many people in the stadium.
Yeah, and despite the wireless issue, that's got to hurt. That's basically the equivalent of being in the final of a World Series or major sporting event, having a rule go to the box for review and have it overturned. And if Surgical loses after thinking he was up 1-0, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow. So let's see if he changes decks.
In Shanghai, for the 1,000-player tournament, what I actually saw was I saw over 50 routers in that stadium. So it's very, very hard to get really good signal.
We need some hamsters in here. Start powering up a few more.
We're going to go into the second match. It looks like the score is 1-0
I like it.
B-Village.
Surgical's got his rocket deck with the Princess. You can already tell. He chips with the Miner. A frequent push you're going to see from Surgical in this deck here is going to be Mega Minion and Ice Spirit at the bridge with the Miner on the tower.
And with that rocket, it denies the Expo completely from any damage on the right side from Surgical's tower. Going in for that log for a positive elixir trade.
The one benefit B has here is that his Expo will definitely draw the rocket. And then with Surgical, he generally needs it to end the match. He can get pretty close when he plays. Watch for the Mega Minion, Ice Spirit, Miner. That's generally his push for chip.
So Just look at that bowler going in. He has a bowler. I'm not sure what he's going to have much use for that bowler, just because there isn't a skeleton army, is there?
I think there's a predictive knight, so he can't expo that side so easy now. So he abandons the Mega Minion push after seeing it get kind of heavy loaded, and then sends the miner, and the expo's going to turn around.
Very interesting play there, where he's using the miner to chip and to tank for the expo, and then using rocket to take out the tower, because Surgical is not going to have any expo damage on his tower.
Princess will be able to deal with those guards with the assistance of the tower just barely as they get those, what were we calling them, pikes? No.
Yeah, the guards do have a pike, so they do have a slight range to them. This is just such a heated match right now. It's going to be very close. Surgical goes in for that miner usually for that little chip damage.
He wants to set up the Mega Minion Ice Spirit miner, but the Ice Spirit's also pretty valuable knowing that he's placing an expo.
Look at how B Village is always playing an Ice Golem in the front, because he's going to try and set up for an expo attack right now, but he has to defend against that miner.
He's just going opposite lane here, so the rocket comes out, and even if an expo gets rocketed, it'll do 100 or so, maybe upwards of 150 damage on the tower, but there was enough in the opposite lane there to distract it.
That's right, and just look at how both of these players are just neck and neck right now. The expo is not getting through because of that rocket, but that rocket is also Surgical's win condition, with the miner just slowly chipping away.
At this rate, I'm not going to say anything. It would take an error or someone changing their rotation, knowing what the other person has, because the damage being dealt in the first 3 minutes, even if you double it, wouldn't result in anything more than a draw.
Look at that value rocket right there. It takes out the expo, and now that miner is almost done with that Mega Minion going for one shot, taking out that bowler.
All right, miner on the tower. That could have provided a lot of extra value. Now he has a full Mega Minion.
That miner got denied completely from the Ice Spirit and the bowler. B Village going in with an expo on the left side, immediately getting rocket. That log kills that Ice Spirit and the Princess for a positive elixir trade.
Now the question here is, how are they going to get enough damage on these towers just under 3 minutes rather? And then we see the miner coming in for additional chip, but the Ice Spirit and bowler.
Oh, look at the Ice Golem right there, protect the tower, so that miner only got one hit off that tower.
And for the same amount of elixir that it cost him to deploy the miner as well, which is pretty crazy.
So it looks like that Ice Golem did glitch a little bit. It did protect the expo. Generally what happens in there is this match will be canceled.
Yeah, that was a full-blown rocket, and due to the death damage via a known issue.
Now, what happens here is that Supercell is aware of this bug. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to release a full App Store update for that. So this entire match will be
redone. Yeah, because of that one play right there, that expo actually should have been taken out, or just a sliver of health left, but there's a known issue with Ice Golem death in vulnerability.
Yeah.
So,
which will be fixed very soon.
Yeah, so.
And Supercell, again, is aware of this.
Until then, everyone in the chat can see it as well. We saw that here. That's one thing. It's almost like we'd have to say no Ice Golem, but when you're using it as a tank properly, it is still a good card to pair with the expo.
It's
just
such a good
unfortunate that it does have that problem with it at the moment here. But it's a very temporary issue. And I assume at the next tournaments coming up, it'll already be fixed. We'll see. So we're going to see how that goes. It's kind of unfortunate because
it doesn't even look like he did it intentionally. It just kind of happened, and these players
because we've seen people using it in front of it all day, and it didn't do it. So it's very sporadic. I don't know if they could replicate it on purpose or not.
That's right. So
yeah, we'll have to see how that one plays out here. So I didn't want that to happen because I think Surgical, I was kind of rooting for him there. I actually think it would have been a draw, though.
If you did notice, his miner was getting at least 2 hits on the tower, but that bowler in the Ice Spirit was just doing so much to that. Yeah,
the miner, I mean, doing 64 a swing, it's going to take a heck of a lot of swings, but we're jumping into the next one here, and let's see how this plays out. Obviously, you can see the score is still 1-0.
So it's going to be the same deck right now. Expo against the Rocket. He goes in for the Rocket to deny completely. That Knight tanks for a little bit, takes out those guards. Now they're both at 4 elixir.
Now, if you're B Village, are you a little nervous when you put the Ice Golem down that your success will be canceled out by a redo from a glitch?
I wouldn't even think about it. The chances of making that happen are very, very slim. Not the chances, but the tile range to replicate that scenario.
It has to be in like the perfect distance from it, because we've seen it in various tile distances and none of it happened then.
Exactly.
Look at that Ice Golem slow and steadily.
Look at that
going to
Golem
the
deal
tower.
70 damage to the tower and a 40 damage death to it. Expo coming up. Does he have an Inferno? He
Oh,
answers
that's a great
with
counter.
knight.
And then the log takes out the Ice Spirit, which would have froze both of those for 2 seconds. Coming up on the first, it would have been 1.5.
Oh, that Mega Minion is going in hot at full health right now, but the other Mega Minion is targeted onto the tower. Right there, they both cancel each other out, dropping their helmets.
And to cancel it out, it has to be a full swing ahead with the assistance of that tower. So we frequently see Surgical play right there with Princess at the bridge. If he gets just that one shot off, what's she doing? Over 150, right?
Yeah, about 140 damage on the tower.
Yep.
And it's kind of a strange trade because the Princess will do 140 and then the Log will do 104 to take her out and the tower. So it's kind of an even trade elixir ratio-wise.
Yeah, that little less damage, but you took out a card that was 1 elixir more.
Yeah.
This is a full
Now,
setup right here.
With that Bowler and Ice Spirit out of rotation, I'm expecting a Miner coming in hot from Surgical side.
It's tough because he...
There we go, just like I said, that Miner's coming in. He rockets the Expo. The Expo's still going to target the tower for a couple hundred health.
Oh yeah, and look at that. That was a fresh Expo, and it took the tower down almost 300 damage even after being rocketed.
Yeah, but that Miner on the bottom right side did so much damage to there. This is going to be very dangerous. B Village can't afford any chip damage just because Surgical has a rocket deck, and everyone knows that. Look at that Mega Minion trying to stop that Miner on the bottom right, but the Miner still got 2 shovel hits off of.
This is what I was seeing that we could have gone into if that match was not reset, because as you can see, Surgical's chip damage, if he could just get that tower down to even 2 rockets, maybe he could cycle through quick
Yeah,
enough.
is that not going to get 1 hit? It doesn't get 1 hit off the tower. Miner going in again, and the Princess, he can't address both of them right now, so that Princess gets 1 shot off, and the Miner gets a couple hits on the tower.
And he likes that because he had to use the Mega Minion on the Princess when lately the Mega Minion's been used for the Miner.
Now, Surgical is at a slight advantage right here, just because of the rocket that he has. Such control of that rocket. Again, Surgical has won 6 tournaments in a row, so he knows how to play this rocket precisely. We've never seen any misplays.
Oh, and then the guards are predicted in the back. That means the Miner's going to get 2, but then shut down right there. And then the log. So right now, that tower's within 2 rockets. But every time he has to rocket this Expo, like right now probably, yes.
Yep.
When he commits finally, I think he goes until it's 1 rocket and then just goes for it.
Right now, he can't afford to use a double rocket just
Yeah.
because he needs that to counter the Expo. So he's slowly sending in that Miner. That Miner goes in for that Ice Spirit, gets denied completely for no value.
Still pretty quick on his feet though, because he sent the Miner to the opposite
Now,
side.
this is looking like a lot of trouble because Surgical doesn't have 6 elixir, so he can't counter that Expo immediately until right now.
Ice Golem going down, and that is normally what happens. Ice Golem and Expo get destroyed. It's a very unique circumstance when it doesn't.
That
Princess is going to
doing
take it
damage,
down to
470. He has
470. One
enough.
more rocket. He just a cycle through.
Now-
Six elixir in there. It
Right
is
there.
going.
That is insane right now. Rocket does 493 damage. Surgical just has
And
to keep
now it
cycling or
comes
defend
out.
that Expo right there. The Rocket goes in for the kill. For the win, Surgical takes
Boom.
this round.
So we've seen Expo versus Expo, and that was what, 3 different matches to get 1 definitive victory. And finally here we get a rocket deck with the Miner chip, Princess chip, taking down the Expo of B Village.
I just love how Surgical has
He
exact
surgically
control.
plays the deck.
He is a surgical.
He's a surgeon
Why is he
of
Surgical
this.
Rock? Why isn't he called Surgical Rocket?
The Goblin's, in my opinion, more like a menace, like a surgical, instigator. I think it's more, I don't know if it literally means Goblin, unless he started with a Goblin barrel or something.
Maybe Goblin means rocket in
Netherlands?
yes. That makes sense. Anyways, so they're going to be setting up for the second match right now. The scores are 1-1. This is
Yep.
going to be a best out of 5. These are the quarterfinals for everyone that's just tuning in right now. It's the finals of ESWC for the Paris Game Week with
Yep.
total grand prize right now of $10,000. First place being $5,000, second place being $2,500, third being $1,500, and fourth place being $1,000. Now these are the last 4 final contestants. All of them will walk away with at least $1,000.
Yep. Everyone is guaranteed something here on the main stage, and I'm just happy. I think we've seen Surgical move into his best deck. So there haven't been many people, or I don't think really anyone, who's been able to shut him down once he moved to this deck.
I haven't seen him lost with this Rocket deck yet. He just has so much control with it, and that I haven't seen him play that Inferno.
Yeah, I haven't, but I haven't seen him play many Lava Hounds with the Rocket deck, so we have to see that because I want to see how he uses the Inferno.
And like I was saying earlier, how they have...
He didn't use the Inferno much.
Yeah, like I was saying with how these players just adapt on the fly, he realized that the Inferno provided no value just because...
They're starting up their next one here. Let's see what decks they're bringing in.
Yeah, just he knew that he had the Inferno counters. He had the guards to counter the Inferno, so he never needed to play that card.
All right, they're about to hit 10 Elixir right about now.
Surgical Goblin going in for that aggressive Ice Spirit push, and it doesn't even reach the tower because of the log. Now that Ice Spirit does deal about 100 damage, so that would have actually provided a lot of value for Surgical.
Now that we see minions, I kind of assume this is a Lava Hound deck.
It looks like it might be an Airfecta.
As soon as you see 3 minions, they're generally not paired with golems. They can be obviously used with a miner, but generally that deck has a minion horde, skeleton army, and goblin barrel.
Just like you said, there is a Lava Hound deck.
Alrighty,
that Princess.
Let's see if he brings. Do you think he'll bring a Tombstone with this one?
There is a possibility. We have seen the Lava Hound deck without the Tombstone for great success.
But
He goes in with the Lightning.
Yeah, but one thing we always see is the Lightning spell, both resetting the Inferno, which is always used against the Lava Hound, and then becoming a clutch 346 damage game ender.
And look at those pups just deal so much damage to that Mega Minion. He has to turn around. That Knight already finished it off. That tower is going to pick off that Mega Minion right there just because the miner is sent in on the right side. Oh, B Village has a Lumberjack. We haven't seen that this entire tournament.
Not paired with the Lava Hound. I don't even know what deck we would have seen it in either, but this is going to be interesting. Once this approaches double elixir and he gets that full Lava Hound push set up, if he does, that rage spell is going to make those pups a major problem.
Surgical hasn't played his rocket deck yet. With 25 seconds approaching into double elixir time, B Village is going to have a really strong push with a Lava Hound.
You can see him at 10 elixir. This is a great time to just pick on the tower a little bit and see what the answer is.
Now this is a very interesting composition he has here because with the Lava Hound paired with the Lumberjack, which we rarely see, if that Lumberjack dies, it's going to rage the pups.
So he's still not playing. We saw a little bit in the preliminary rounds. He would just launch the rocket sometimes if there was literally no cards and he was sitting at 10. However, it might be more of a double elixir situation, and now that the skill tier of where we're playing at, these players could counter him too well if he did that.
Yeah, and on the bottom right, that miner that snuck in did get 2 shots off the tower. That's so much value for Surgical's playstyle right now. The pups do get quite a bit of hit on,
but
they get
NickatNyte
by the
quite
Princess.
a few hits on that tower as well.
Princess in the front, she takes
and the
one
miner
shot.
the miner gets 3 hits with the 3 minions on top of him.
It's a very interesting playstyle how Surgical is always playing that Princess in the front just because she deals 140 damage. Surgical just needs to get that tower down to 493 because his 8th card is the Rocket. Oh, going in
Rocket
for that Rocket.
goes out when he just sees nothing on and no immediate offensive threat. The Rocket comes out, and it's just one more of those, a miner and a Princess in my book.
Yeah, he's just so confident about that Lava Hound because he has an Inferno Tower. He plants on the left side because of the minion horde, and the Ice Spirit denies them completely.
Will we see the Lumberjack underneath, or how will this push end here? The Rocket
Surgical
goes out. That's going to be game right there. I didn't even notice that tower was under 493, and that is game 2 to Surgical. Wow. He's so good with that deck. He's so good.
We haven't seen Surgical lose with this deck yet.
Oh my goodness, and it's not an easy deck. We both talked about this earlier. We've built it, I've tried it out, and you need so many games logged with it to understand when to use what.
The exact interactions of every card, when to use it, when not to use it, when to use it defensively, when to rocket the tower. As you noticed in the last game where he didn't rocket the tower until it was within that range, but this time he planted a little bit earlier because he's more confident with the Lava Hound.
Yep.
So,
and then if you guys are just tuning in, we've been seeing this a lot. The Inferno Tower against the wall, against a rear corner planted Lava Hound has been the play to make. And then the distance from the crown or the arena tower is what varies. So we're going to see a lot of precision Inferno placement.
So the score is 2-1 right now for best out of 5. Anything could happen right now. Surgical going in with that same rocket deck and the miner chipping away. Counters B Village's miner with a Mega Minion. And for that miner trade, Surgical's miner did do a lot more damage to his tower.
And Surgical's playing for a spot in the final 2. B Village is playing to stay in this match and not get kicked down to the 3rd and 4th bracket. So he has the Lava Hound deck again. He just sent the miner in as a preliminary chip, maybe a bad starting hand.
Interesting plant. He planted it one tile closer to the tower than he needed to. And possibly for that is because it has so much health, so it's going to tank for the pups.
We've seen that. If there's nothing backing a Lava Hound, look at this. The Inferno Tower not only kills the Lava Hound, it also tanks all the pups, denying any damage.
Oh, that Lumberjack locks onto that Miner, so that Miner is very distracted, providing almost no value. But that Ice Spirit did jump on that tower for 100 damage.
And that Miner almost took that Lumberjack out where the Rage means nothing. But either way, the Miner goes to the side where the Rage wouldn't have been deployed.
Surgical planning that Princess, again doing 140 chip damage. She goes in for another 140 damage on that tower for a total of 280.
And because of the Knight, he has to deploy a log after he just wanted to use minions because the minions were distracted by that Knight for so long. And he didn't want to get any more Princess shots.
That is just intense right now. So B Village is going in with a Lava Hound. 25 seconds into overtime. B Village could have a very strong push once he counters this Miner.
And just looking at this, guys, if you look at Princess, Knight, Miner, Ice Spirit, that's 10 elixir. So basically, every full elixir bar, Surgical launches a Knight, Princess, Miner, Ice Spirit attack, ideally, and that's how he's able to chip these towers down to 493 or less. And then he just uses the Mega Minion defensively. It's almost like it seems easy, but it's not easy at all.
Look at that. He goes in for that Miner and the Princess. The Princess gets one shot off. The Miner gets quite a lot. Is he going to ignore that Miner? Because that Miner is going to do over 500 damage. Just nuts right there. 1,006 health. That tower, if it gets within rocket range, B Village is going to be in trouble.
I'm just trying to, I was thinking about B Village's plan. This is what he tried to do last round too. Minion Horde to take out the Inferno before the Hound was there. But Surgical can get right back to his Inferno if he needs to so quick.
Just such an intense match. He goes in for the lightning. The pups do reach the tower, but Surgical plants that Mega Minion, one-shotting each pup. Going in for that Miner, doing some damage, but 15 seconds left. Surgical plants that Miner. And a rocket. He's so confident with that rocket going in, taking out that Mega Minion for a positive elixir trade.
Princess at the bridge, one shot, that's game. Yep, you knew it was coming, but that's all he needed to do. And 3 seconds left here. The Ice Spirit shutting down the Minion Horde for 2 seconds with 2 seconds left.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Surgical Goblin 3-1 against B Village.
Look at that crowd. A lot of these people are also seeing Clash Royale a lot of them are players out there, but I know that the stage has not been used for it yet the entire event. This is pretty cool. There's that many people out there.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I mean,
wow.
We have a ton of you guys in chat too. And I see a lot of GG easies. It's so not easy, but he makes it look so easy.
He does make it look easy just because of the flawless plays and everything and
yeah.
adapting to every single interaction. One thing in that it was kind of interesting to me that B Village chose an all-air deck because now he had no grounds to answer to counter that Miner. So that Miner was always guaranteed at least 2 hits off of that tower.
Yeah, that was the...
I feel like that was the downfall of that last game, where if he had at least guards or something like that.
I was going to say, guards are one of the few things you could put down. You can do skeletons, but then obviously the Princess shot could go with it, but the Miner is never denied fully.
And you know what is really interesting that I just realized now is that we haven't seen a mini P.E.K.K.A played in this entire tournament.
No. Generally paired with,
Fire Spirits or something like that, but it's usually really great to counterattack the Miner and then go in with Fire Spirits to support it. And if you can get at least one Miner.
I feel like a mini P.E.K.K.A, Fire Spirit, Hog Rider, Goblin deck could almost be a good counter to this Rocket deck. Or even the Hog, Barb, Archer, or Hog, Princess, Barbarian deck with the Rocket. That would be a fun battle to watch too.
All right, so tonight you versus Surgical with that theoretical deck. We'll see.
No. He offered me a friendly battle, I think, was it 2 nights ago, and I was like, I'm tired.
I'm jet lagged, it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm just gonna go to sleep. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. Maybe after you win a tournament here.
Yeah.
So next up, coming on the stage, as you guys can see, they're being introduced.
So it's going to be Termisva versus Ming. And Ming was in the Shanghai tournament as well. He was the...
Be ready for more Lava Hound.
Yep.
Right here, he's like, Lava Hound. That's all he had to say. And they're like, we love it. We love it. We want to see it. People are sitting in the